So welcome to Coach Further Together, supportive ecosystem built for business coaching excellence. So this is not going to be just about a coaching platform. It's about a movement. And the movement really is, to me, that everybody deserves a coach, regardless of who you are and what you do. Somewhere along the line, everybody needs a coach, and you go through life with different stages where at different stages you may need a different type of coach. Why we exist? Well, it really is that whole part about everybody deserves a coach. And I believe strongly that every coach deserves a belonging. Now, I spent 29 years in the retail distribution world and started off as a record salesman, okay? And still when people handed in the form at the counter, I started there. And I made my way through and climbed the ladder through the corporate world and got to a point where I was done doing things for other people. And I was done trying to please people. And at the age of 46, I turned around and said, I'm done and I want out. So we joked about me going on retirement. And anyway, I sold all my shares, got out. And after 3 months, my wife said to me, Kenny, go and find something to do or I will kill you. So hence I went out into the big world. I remember when you're in the corporate world and I was 10 years in one company and then 19 years in another company, you become extremely isolated from the real world because everything revolves around the organization. And I was speaking to different employment agencies and that I'd used in the past. And the Winchell Gale said to me, Kenny, go talk to my husband because we should know nobody's going to employ you. So I said to her, what does he do? She said, no, he's a business coach. And I went, business coach? What's that? So anyway, I met with her husband, Andre. We had a whole long conversation. And at the end of it, I thought, wow, I can actually get paid for doing my most favorite part of my career, which was developing people. This sounds good. So anyway, I went off to Action Coach, joined Action Coach. And after 2.5 years, bingo, it hit me. This is wrong for me. It's not going to work for me because values are wrong. So I went off on my own and started doing my own thing. And as I've been growing and building, my daughter said she wanted to join. I brought her in. I brought other coaches in, and I've helped them develop and I've helped them grow into where they should be. And some of them have gone off and have been extremely successful. But the beauty of it is they've stayed with me as clients. So it's an amazing feeling to have. But as I was going along, I started realizing there are tools in the world and everybody's selling tools. Become a six-figure coach. Download my free material. Sign up for my thing, or you can get it only normal price, $199, and you can get it for $50 today. I've seen them all. I've bought them all. But none of them give you what you truly need. And so today I'm going to highlight some of those. So let's first understand what is the problem with the coaching industry. And when I say the coaching industry, I'm talking in general. Now, Annelie, how long have you been in the industry?
I became a coach in 2019.
19. Okay. Kate, you're still fresh at this. Okay. So let me not be rude and let's go back. Let's give each of you an opportunity to tell us all about you and what you do and the type of coach you are. And what is your biggest challenge you have right now as a coach? Annelie, you're on top of my screen, so we'll start with you.
Okay. I am, at the moment, I'm in between because I took a time out to not continue what I have been doing because obviously it hasn't worked. Because so many people tell me that you look at your results and you see if it worked or not. And I didn't have any to talk about. I've done a lot of good things coaching, but the things to get the people in and get the money in has been a struggle. Then I have got in and out of it, and being alone at my chamber, as you said, sitting there, getting in your head, and then you start looking at everybody else, and then you buy into a new strategy, and then you find out that this doesn't work because it has to do with you and what comes from within.
Mm. Thank you, Andy. Kate?
So yes, I started in March. And interestingly, actually, my company that I've set up, Kenny, is called Baobab Works. The link to Africa that I was kind of talking to you about earlier. But I'm calling myself the agent of culture change because for me, culture is just not important, it's everything. And it's a very broad, quite, general statement to make there, but I do believe it's everything. So I want to, and this is what I've started to do, I want to be working with individuals, groups, teams, so there could be a corporate element to it as well, around unlocking what I'm calling kind of the hidden potential in how they are leading themselves, leading people, inspiring others through their performance and through how they are ready to embrace change and disruption, because change and disruption is coming whether we like it or not. And the culture of how we work, lead, and think is going to help us harness it, manage it, be successful in it, kind of course correct if we need to. So that is my intention. It's working with people and making sure they've got the right culture in how they work and in their mindset to embrace and unlock kind of their hidden potential. And that's where I am now. The challenge is probably, is this right? So, I've done my market research, I've thought about the different personas, from a corporate and a non-corporate perspective, because for me, I think both are equally important. And I'd like to work with both, but will I end up falling on one side more than the other? Maybe. But I think for me, the biggest thing is I keep hearing and I understand everyone talking about you have to niche. You can't be everything to everyone or you'll be nothing to no one. And I agree with that. So I think for me, it's what kind of coach will I end up being? So I know where I am right now, but I'm interested as to where I will end up being. But my passion is all about this idea of culture, self-leadership, and unlocking hidden potential in individuals, groups, and teams.
Please don't be offended. Try not to use the word hidden potential.
Hidden potential, did you say?
Mm.
Okay.
Because it's so overused.
That's great feedback. Yep.
Okay. Find another word for it.
That's good feedback. Thank you.
So overused. Every second coach uses hidden potential or fulfill your potential or your promised potential. It's just
okay, fair enough. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
All right, let's get
back. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so the problem in the industry is there's no support. Lack of business resources for coaches. When we go do our qualifications and our certifications, they teach us how to be a coach. They teach us the procedures and the systems that we should be following. But they don't teach you how to actually run the business. And they tell you it's a practice. Well, yeah, a doctor is also a practice. So in reality is, well, we're always practicing, aren't we? But our actual business shouldn't be a practice. Our coaching is practicing. Our business should be a working, functioning system business. Okay, so there's no support. Loneliness, it creeps in. We feel so alone in the business. Who do you turn to? Who do you speak to? Everybody says I must get a coach because I'm a coach. Well, guess what? I'm not making enough money to afford a coach. Okay, that's the reality. So we go out and we coaching people. And when they say, who's your coach? And they know you are talking the biggest load. So isolation is a challenge. And because we work so hard, burnout, it comes so quickly. And funny enough, most coaches don't make it past their first 2 years at full time. I mentioned this earlier, both of you, I think. 1 out of 2 drop off in the first year. when the honeymoon part's over, we go and we do all the research and we learn about who we are, etc. And when the honeymoon part's over, we kind of realize, yeah, I'm not making any money. Yeah. Around 25 to 30, that's 1/4 of people make it beyond 5 years. And those who often are the ones who's either niche down effectively or built a recurring revenue or integrated coaching into a broader offer, consulting, training, group programs, etc. Okay, so they're not just coaches. I mean, I've got a whole span of things that I do. Okay, that's the reality of it. And the 10-year mark is extremely rare. I must say, I met a lady just now who is at year 19. Blew me away. Okay, year 19. I was like, I want to learn from her. So coaches who hit this milestone tend to pivot as a market evolves, leverage content and community, or build personal brands or ecosystems. Now, this lady I met, she's gone into such a point where she doesn't call herself a coach anymore. Okay, so she helps people go through their limiting beliefs. Simple as that. Okay, so she says she's a trainer, no longer a coach. Burnout and isolation is the number one reason. So before you get there and before you burn out, and I know you've kind of hinted that you've been there, okay? It's a reality. I've felt it too. So I mentioned my vision is everyone deserves a coach. Now, if you look at that dome, you'll see it's made up of hexagons forming a beautiful global picture. Why do the honeybees build their honey nest in hexagons? Because of the strength. Okay, the strength that comes together from hexagons is lockable. It locks into place and keeps the strength. Now I have this big one-day vision that each one of those hexagons, and you'll notice our logo is the same, will have a different coach's name on it. And that's my ultimate dream, having a support structure for coaches. I believe that coaching will become such an important part of every person's life that right now we go into Google and we say, I'm looking for a business coach who can help me with, and a whole list of names come up. I want to have a scenario where people go, don't go to Google, go to Arch Inspirations. And there you'll have a selection of coaches that will best suit you. So everyone deserves a coach. Everyone deserves a coaching home. Somewhere where you can feel that you belong and the integrity of the coaches is high. That they're not there just to screw you over, and they're not just there to pretend. Where authenticity comes through, where honesty comes through, where doing what we say comes through, because that's what coaches should do. A community of support where you can have a bad moment together, where you can go and pick up the phone and, for example, Kate, you may phone Annelie and say, I've just had the worst day of my life and I need to tell somebody. And when you're finished, thanks, I feel so much better now. Or, hey, I just signed that client that I've been waiting for. Because when you tell your partner, they don't get it. When you tell your family and friends, they don't get it. But when you tell another coach, they get it. Because that's the most rewarding feeling we know. It's a place to make an impact at scale, because learning from each other is how we serve better. Because at the end of the day, nobody becomes a coach to make $1 million rand, $1 million, £1 million. Become a coach because you believe you are there to serve. And that's why we become coaches. But making money along the way is a bonus. Well, it's nice. So when we look at it, we don't just coach, we create a transformation at scale. It's about reclaiming your time and your impact. Why did you become a coach? So you can transfer lives, not drown yourself in admin and paperwork. So the reality of coaching today, not to upset anybody, is scheduling sessions, or finding sessions to schedule, creating reports, doing all this work behind the scenes, before and after sessions, client follow-ups, chasing clients. Did you do this? You said you were going to do that. Did you do it? Okay. Managing all the documents that you're trying to put together. Does this sound familiar? Kate, did you see my email you got after our call this morning?
I've seen something come in, Kenny. I've been slammed, so I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Sorry, I apologize, but I have seen something come in.
Okay. So that's part of what I talk about. Anneli,
the client follow-up.
Yeah.
Or the scheduling, yeah.
Anneli, you've seen it. My email.
I've seen your emails, yes.
And how does it work?
I love them.
Okay.
And they work.
And they work. And it takes me 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're spot on.
Yeah. And it impresses them. And that's what it's about. Every client.
Well, you feel seen, don't you? And you feel listened to when you get a follow-up email. Like I imagine it's a bit of a summary, and
Yeah.
so and you feel listened to and seen, which is what people want.
And all the agreements, everything we agree to is in there.
Yeah.
So it creates more accountability as well. Because if you had a task on paper, it's more like you have to get going.
It's kind of
also.
like made a commitment to it.
Yeah.
Okay. But those tasks that we were talking about now, they don't move the needle up for us. Okay. The time is meant for client transformation, not chasing emails or juggling spreadsheets. Okay. It's about having everything. Where did I put this client stuff? Where did I put that here? I know I had this here. You want to be able to go into one place and have everything where you need it. All sound familiar, hey? How many times have we said, I know I need to hire a team. But the reality is, go and hire a team. Okay. Because we'll just be being overwhelmed. You can't afford, it doesn't make logical sense to do that. So you don't need to hire a team. You need AIA. One solution to coach efficiently. So that one solution, track clients' progress for you. Automate your scheduling and complete coaching dashboard where you can see exactly what is happening, when it's happening, and be on top of everything with reminders, with functions, with tools, all of that, all in one place. Do you want more time to coach? Ability to scale with what matters, and mental space. As a coach, we need mental space. It's probably one of the most important things that we need, yet we'll clog ourselves up with all sorts of stuff and not get it. So what makes us different? That's an image of the dashboard. You can see sessions, actions, calendar, library of content, contacts and invoices. There's a page of the showcase. It has all the offerings in it, your profile in it, coaches, settings, etc. Also available on mobile. So having a coaching app, would that make your life easy? And now I'm not talking about an app that does partial of the job, okay, like most of your CRMs. I'm talking about one that from the moment a prospect comes into your life, all the way through the entire coaching journey, they remain inside of your app, your CRM. You guys are now part of my CRM, whether you like it or not, until I decide to remove you. I've got you, okay? But it's a way of managing everything through the whole process. And everything, every note, every email that I've sent out to you now is documented. Mentorship, strategy, support, brand support. We have our own marketing agency that owns my brand as much as I own it. Okay. Michelle McFarlane from Dragon Consulting. They've built my website. They've built my Facebook page. They've built my website, everything they've built. I just supply the IP and they make it pretty. They make it all work the way it needs to work. I'm not allowed to even design my own presentations without them having some say in it. Okay, so I have to have it all pre-approved that I can work with those templates. So it's by brand, the support, guidance on what you should do, what you shouldn't do. How many hours have we spent going, I wonder if this picture's right. And then you post it and you go, oops, I shouldn't have posted that. Okay. Guilty many times. Okay. Hence, I'm not allowed to touch it anymore. Okay. And what does it do to your reputation as a coach? I had a client who, Michelle was also a client for Michelle. And she one day said, I've noticed Kenny's not posting anymore. I don't see spelling mistakes. That was what a client was saying.
The backhanded compliment.
Yeah. So, done for you tools. And that's not the stuff that everybody promises you that you can get and buy for this price, etc. We customize everything together with you. We customize everything. We work on your strategy. We work on your cash flow, your frameworks, and how you want to develop and where you want to go. We believe in real coaches making a real impact. Here's Linda. Linda was with me for about 18 months as a coach. She's now flying, trading, and discovered that being a coach is just part of what she does. And she's actually a fractional financial director, well, CFO, calls herself a chief fractional officer, or fractional CFO, something like that. Doesn't matter what it is, but she helps people with their financials and their businesses. And she's hitting the corporate world like you've got no tomorrow. Okay. Because she found who she is. Gabby, okay. Gabby, community and tools transformed how I serve clients. Gabby came on, she was a life coach, certified life coach. She joined us. She played a little bit around in the business coaching. I realized it wasn't for her. But also realized life coaching wasn't for her. There was something bigger. Gabby discovered she's a creative coach. She helps people bring out their creativity. And she's gone off now and is doing that. Some of you know Gabby from Circle. She does my crew. Charisse, my daughter, she finally feels supported in growing her own coach's practice. Okay. Because of the one thing is, although Arch Inspirations is the big brand, each coach is their own practice because you are still yourself in your own coach. So the type of coaches that we're looking for, people who show emotional intelligence, have strong skills and self-awareness, able to read what somebody is saying behind what they're saying. Ready to grow, committed to business development, ready to grow your business, ready to do the work, ready to learn. Service-driven, passionate about helping others. Coaches are servers. We serve others. Coachable, open to growth and feedback, alignment with our culture. So I've broken this down into 4 different groups. Okay, how are we doing with time? We're doing okay. Each group broken into 4 tiers, and I'll explain each tier slightly differently as we go along. But before we go there, let's go back one step. I'm going too fast today. Do we have any questions? Is what I'm saying making sense? Do you feel where you, I know you feel, Kate?
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense. And I'm kind of jumping ahead to some of the things I've already done and where some of this could tie in. So my brain is just whirring, but it all makes sense. And it's something that I kind of wish I had known about kind of 6 months ago, right? You know, when you first start out and you go down these paths of, you know, branding and CRM and all of this stuff kind of individually, maybe because you don't know any better. So I think, yeah, I think that this is absolute gold. Yeah, and sorry, to answer, my brain is whirring. To answer your question, Kenny, yes, it makes sense. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
Anneli, you have seen most of this before. How's it sitting with you now?
It's sitting, I feel where Kate is now because I was there last time. We went through this last week, and I said I have no questions, or I probably have quite a lot, but I have to digest a bit. So it totally makes sense.
Okay, so to make coaching work and to help deliver that everybody can have a coach, we sat down and we looked at it and we said, how do we make this affordable, doable, and realistic for people? Because that was often the biggest challenge that I found was sometimes it's not affordable, sometimes it's not achievable, and sometimes it's not realistic. And we've been back and forth, and we've kind of put down into certain breaks. And we've put together 4 different tiers of coaches, and each coach will fit into a different tier, which best suits them. And it's the same as that I do with my own clients and my own coaching, my one-to-one and group clients, etc. is I don't have a program that says, right, this is you, this is where you belong. Or that's my fee and that's what you pay. I believe in looking at tiers and going, where would you get the best benefit? How do you grow in which area? What is it that you need right now? And you can move. Okay. You don't have to stay because you've been put in a box. Because I don't like anybody putting me in a box. Even though, okay, I must tell you guys, one of my coaching tricks, which I later discovered was because of my ADHD, is I put everything into boxes. Hence, I'm so good at running systems. Okay. I put everything in a box. Each client goes into a box. Each story goes into a box. Each event goes into a box. Because if I don't put them in boxes, they distract me. So I put them into boxes to know that's okay now. They're in the box, they're safe. And then I open my next box, which happens to be my next client, open the box and everything comes flooding and I can be present with them. Okay, so that's a different story. But putting people like this into boxes, no. And that's why I'm looking at them as tiers. And tiers you can move across. They're not silos, they move across. So in the starter coach program, and now the good news is that neither of you fit into a startup box. Okay, because the biggest part missing from the startups is to do an online coaching program with a recognized coaching institution, which is part of that package. However, what I do want to highlight is all of these in black are in all of those standard that come regardless of which tier you go into. Obviously, there's a branded license to use the name Arch Inspiration. You get a personalized web page and all the email assets and all the things that go with it, Microsoft Word, blah, 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 Teams, etc. The CRM system, as I mentioned earlier, which takes from a prospect all the way through the journey and the coaching journey, even to when the journey is over and staying in touch with them afterwards. All the different coaching tools that I've put together and developed and use bits and pieces from to make work. All your admin, all your tech platform. So you can say goodbye to having 12. I spent a lot of time finding the right platform because I was using 4 or 5 different platforms at the same time, working from the one into the other. And then I'd forget, okay, which platform was this one? And it's crazy. Mobile and web browser, okay? And you get a section and your clients get their own section. So the clients have their own login portal and you have your portal, and the two speak to each other. Monthly team calls and peer networking, as well as weekly calls, okay? Touching base, but a proper monthly team meeting where we go through and we actually understand and unpack your business. Quarterly coach development workshops. Every quarter we get together and we'll tackle different areas of business, of coaching and businesses and how to do what. Ongoing WhatsApp support. I'm only a message away. That's the way I like to look at it. I have a very simple philosophy in messages. And please don't send me voicemails. I've got to stop what I'm doing and listen to it. Okay. A WhatsApp, I can glance at it and I can go, okay, I need to phone Kate back as soon as I'm done with this. Okay. Voice notes, I generally say, well, I'll listen to them when I can. And yeah, after a certain hour at night, I'm no longer available. I'll phone you early in the morning the next day because I keep my boundaries in place with my family. Okay. And then obviously shared tools, community access, content packs, everything you ever learned from me becomes yours. Okay, so I'm going to jump straight over to the next one. If I just click on the right screen here. And on the next one, you get the advantage of the pods. So into pod coaching, which I spoke to Kate about earlier this morning, 3 or 4 working together on a similar outcome and learning from each other. So you have, that's that introduction to that support that we so badly miss when we start coaching. The impact coaching. So the impact coaching, you get all the things that we get on the others, and the impact, hence the name, you're really starting to make a difference in what you're doing as a coach. Okay, so here we're hitting year 3, year 4. Personalized coaching and mentoring. So it's probably weekly coaching, depending on where you are and what you need. Complete CRM setup, branded client journeys, everything done specifically for you. Growth mentoring and sales strategy support. Now, what is the difference between this one and the next one? Everything starts becoming a lot more fine-tuned and you start developing as a coach who knows where they're going. And then QB. Sorry about that. Apologies. Brand partner. A brand partner is something that I've gone and set up and saying, where's the asset to what you do? Because one of the biggest challenges that we have as coaches is what happens when you stop coaching? Everything comes to an end. Where do your clients go? What happens to the information you've shared? What happens to the knowledge you've grown? So hence, I've introduced the branding. Okay, so where the difference comes in, territory rights. We'll give an area to a coach where other coaches will now fall under them. So their role becomes a leadership mentorship and an opportunity to train junior coaches. And then profit share on all internal programs and facilitate opportunities. So there becomes a future where you coach less, but still earn. Any questions so far?
Not so far, Kenny. I'm just digesting it. But like I said, really, yeah, some really good stuff here for me to think about, really.
So the next steps really are, let's have a separate call just specifically on this. Okay. Build a rapport, but we're already starting to build rapport. Okay. And by the way, Kate, I have lots of hidden space in my diary. Okay. So a message, Kenny, we need to chat. I'll send you options. Okay. Because I've blocked out a lot of time in my diary to give myself peace and quiet and work on my business. And let's look at a fit that works for you. Determine the ideal tiers. Okay. Anli, I've got some ideas for you, but I want you to go to Malawi and come back. And then we chat. Okay. Why do I say that? Because I know it's no use joining before you go and then come back afterwards. Then we look at what works for you. Because otherwise, either you're not going to be focusing on what you're going to Malawi for, or you're wasting the time you're in Malawi that you could have been on this. I'd rather not. We start afterwards. Come back afterwards, and then we work it out. Final message to you. You don't need to coach alone. You need alignment, community, and a strategy that matches your heart.